Okay, my loves. Well, in tonight's practice, there's a little bit of kneeling because we're going to do gate pose. So therefore, if you've got a blanket or a kneeling pad or something that you like to use to help you in that respect, then please grab it and have it near you. But yeah, it's lovely to see you all. I've had to go out in this miserable weather and go and teach a class, and I rocked up. I was all dripping. We were all wet. We were all wet and soggy. And I just looked at this room and I went, "This is why I teach online." And they went, So I was talking about you guys in my class, saying, they're the sensible ones. They've stayed at home out of this soggy, rotten weather and been stayed in the warm. Anyway, right. We are going to do some Kapalabhati breathing to start tonight's practice. So you're going to need to sit for tonight's breathing. Please make sure that you are comfortable. I'm going to do my bits and bobs, pinning you all. Why it's doing this. Okay. Oh. Okay. Right. I think I'm about there. Got a weird old view going on. Yeah, right. Here we go. I think I'm good. Let's move that somewhere else. There we go. That was weird. Right. Okay, so for tonight's practice, we're going to start with Kapalabhati breathing. And this is one of my favorite breath practices, my favorite pranayamas. It's considered to be a kriya, which means that it is a cleansing practice. And often kriyas are practiced in the morning. So put that part of it aside. The reason that we're practicing it is because it builds or it moves heat in the body. So it's very, very nice. If you're feeling a bit cold or you have a cold and you've got that cold inside of you feel, which sometimes happens because, we've talked about this, it's this weird in-betweeny time. I know everybody's talking about autumn, but we're very much in what the Chinese call late summer, which is this very damp, this very changeable time when, like yesterday morning, I woke up and it was warm and I had my back door open, even though it wasn't very nice, there was still a warmth in the air. And then by the evening last night, it was really, really cold. So we're in this very changeable time, hence why I have a cold. Because it all just, we're neither here nor we're there. I'm warm and I'm sitting here in my t-shirt, but have a cold. Stupid, isn't it? Anyway, so Kapalabhati, one of my favorite breath techniques for lots of reasons. Number one, because of its cleansing practices. Like I said, I love doing it in the morning. You don't have to do it for very long. 1 or 2 minutes is fine. But it's also great for the toning of the abdomen. So if you were to practice this regularly, let's say every morning for a week, you would really notice an improvement in the tone in your lower belly. So it's a wonderful practice on a physical level, but it's also a wonderful practice on an energetic level. So Kapalabhati means, it translates roughly as skull shining breath. And that's because it has this very clearing effect. And sometimes when I've practiced it properly, when I don't quite have a cold, it really feels like you've given your sinuses and the skull, the frontal bone, a real kind of clearing and real airing out. So I love practicing it. We're going to do it together, but we need to sit for this particular breath work. So if you like, let me just push this door closed. I like to sit generally on a bolster for the practice. So I like to sit sort of straddling it like this with knees on the floor, feet either side of the bolster, but then I can sit up in a really nice upright and easy position. Let me just move my iPad so that I can see your. Okay. And we're going to do this together. We're going to do it very slowly. Oh dear. Right, just make yourself comfortable for a moment while I go get my charger. My computer telling me it's off. Let's give it some juice before it dies. There we go. Back in the room. So you've had a chance to sit and get yourself acquainted with an upright position. And I'm going to suggest that you put your hands on your belly, because one of the beautiful things about doing the 3-part breath that we've been doing quite a lot recently is that you're very familiar, or hopefully feeling very familiar, with breathing into the belly. And in fact, if you can, you know, feed that into everyday life so that you're not just doing belly breath on your yoga mat, but as you sleep, as you drive, as you sit and watch telly, it will bring so much benefit to your body. Anyway, so that's where our focus is for Kapalabhati. And all you're going to do is relax your shoulders, hands on your tummy, close your eyes or gaze downwards, and just simply breathe into your belly. So your tummy expands on the inhale and it gently pulls back in on the exhale. And you're not really working to do this, it's just happening because that's where you're directing your breath right now. So do a few more rounds, a few more breaths in and out. And so for most of us, this can be quite a subtle movement if we're just breathing naturally. But what I want you to do now is I want you to use a little bit of muscular effort. So you can carry on breathing naturally and expanding your belly on the inhale. But as you exhale, start to use a little bit of muscular contraction to draw the belly in as you exhale. Then inhale and completely relax. And exhale, draw the belly in. And keep going with this. Inhale, relaxing. And exhale, little squeeze happening. And this is Kapalabhati breath in slow motion. So you are already doing the practice. Okay. Now to take it to the next level, instead of it being a relaxed kind of out breath with a squeeze of the belly happening, now your squeeze of the belly needs to be sharper. Okay, so it's like a squeeze in of the muscles, and it's almost will sound like you're snorting your breath out through your nose. But the effort of breathing out is happening because you're here contracting your belly. Your in-breath is easy. Your in-breath just happens. But now what I want you to move towards is a short, sharp, and then a natural in-breath, and a short, sharp, and keep going. The out-breath is going to be very fast, and the in-breath is going to be very slow. And then relax. Let your hands rest into your lap for a moment and notice where you feel the kind of after effects of this practice. This can be good for practicing with a cold. It can also be very frustrating to practice with a cold. So be mindful of that if that is applicable to you. For me, I really feel a warming sensation in the belly from using these muscles. And you'll get the clearing sensation, I think. I don't find it so clearing when it's slower. I find it's more facially clearing when it's rapid, when it's quicker. And that's basically the next step. So stage 3 is that you breathe out with rapid snorts or rapid contractions of the belly with the snorty sound, one after the other. Okay, so if you keep your hands on your belly, it's a nice way to practice because it reminds you of where to squeeze. But if you put your hands back here, we'll start off slowly and then I'll invite you to go a little bit more quickly. Okay, so relax your shoulders, take an easy breath in and an easy breath out. An easy big breath in. And then begin with your sharp contraction. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want right now. Aim for about 20 exhales. And then relax. Take an easy breath in, relax your arms, relax your hands again, and an easy breath out. Okay. So I know I haven't counted you through those, but I also am very conscious that I don't want you to do too long. You can do 50 breaths, you can do 100 breaths, but round about now, anywhere between about 10 and 20 is a good place to begin. If you have already got this in your regular practice, then of course you can go for a bit longer, but we're going to do one more round of this. So just making sure that you're just using these muscles here under your hands on the exhale. Let the inhale do whatever it wants, okay? And I hope you can kind of hear me. I'm trying to breathe out quite loudly so that you can hear the sound of my breath. But if you can't, don't worry, I am doing the practice with you. So just take, again, in breath, out breath, in breath, and begin. And if you watch my belly, you'll see that it's just my tummy moving. You want to keep it low down, try not to move your chest. Do one more. Big breath in and a breath out and relax. Okay. Now, if you zoned into this area, which can be in itself kind of tricky to get right the first few times that you practice it, but if you were able to get into this region, you're definitely going to get some kind of temperature change. You're definitely going to get a feeling that you've worked this area of the body. So it's great for lifting your energy levels. It's fantastic for your digestive system as a whole. And it's said to be very, very good for the respiratory processes as well. Okay, so there we go. That's your pranayama practice for today. Come and have a little bit of a lie down, please, on the back of your body. And once you've found a comfortable lying position, so yeah, have a good lie down, just rest your body, relax your shoulders, be Be soft for a moment. Do what you need to do. Just acquaint yourself with laying down. Take a big breath in and a long breath out. Okay. From here, either take one leg or both legs or feet up into the air, legs up high, and do some circles, please, with your toes in the air. Good. And change direction. Lovely. Now, from here, you have two choices. You can either stretch your feet up to the ceiling through your heels, or if your legs have got tired, put your feet on the floor, slide your feet away and stretch out that way. Everyone, however, lengthen your arms alongside your ears. So whether you're like this or whether you're like this, it doesn't matter. I want you to breathe in, inhale. And then as you exhale, bring your knees in towards your chest and give them a little squeeze in towards your ribs. Then return, inhale, stretch out long, whatever variation, whether it's this one or legs high. And then exhale, curl in and squeeze in. Inhale again, stretch out. And then exhale and squeeze. And maybe you take your nose towards your knees and curl up. Release. Pop the feet back down onto the floor. And take just one leg up into the air. The arms can be wherever you want them to be. Okay, now you're going to try and keep your lower back fairly flat into the floor. And I'd like you to stretch out through the heel of your foot, so the foot that's up towards the ceiling. And then keeping the leg straight, lower the whole leg down to the ground. Then, as though you're dragging your heel through the mud, slide your foot in towards you, pick it up off the floor and reach it back up towards the ceiling. Stretch up through the heel. Slowly lower the leg down to the ground. Keep the lower back flat if you can. Then you can point your toes, slide your foot back in towards you, and then uncurl your leg up to the ceiling. And we're going to do this a couple more times. So use your tummy muscles, please. Keep your lower back gently lengthened towards the ground. Curl the leg in, extend the leg up one more time, and then gently lowering. Pointing and dragging, and then leaving the foot where it is. Let's do the other side. Take the other foot up towards the ceiling. Extend towards the ceiling through the heel, so the toes point down towards your face. Gently lower this straight leg downwards. Point through the toes, slide the foot in towards you, uncurl the leg, and then extend away through the heel. And keep going. You know what to do. Moving at your own pace. Good. Let's do two more. One more. And leave your foot resting onto the floor. Okay? All right, so we're going to up the ante a little bit and do both legs. If you know that both legs is not for you, alternate. Do one leg at a time, but switch from side to side this time. We're going to take both legs up into the air, heels up, and then slowly extend or lengthen both legs down towards the end of the mat, or one leg, and then slide the feet in, uncurl the legs and lift them up, stretch through the heels. Slowly lower the legs down, drag them in and reach them up. Keep going, we'll do a few more. Try and keep the lower back flat towards the floor if you can, so you're using your tummy muscles. Good, we'll do two more. Know that you can rest if you need to rest. One more. And then pop your feet onto the floor. And very well done. Have the knees bent and let the knees drop side to side. Turn your head in the opposite direction to your knees. Do one more on each side. Lovely. And then come back towards the center. I'd like you to roll over onto the front of your body and make a little pillow for your head to rest on. So make yourself comfortable, ease yourself to the ground. And then we're going to point both toes. So point both sets of toes away from you. So your legs feel very, very long. Keep this lovely lengthened feel, but lift just one foot off of the floor. So you're really working the leg, the hamstring, the glutes, and then lower the foot back down. Point through the other foot, lengthen the other leg and lift the whole leg off of the floor, and then come down. And go from side to side, please, lifting the leg. Try not to twist. So try not to turn the hips too much. Good. Keep going. Do one more on each side, please. That's it. And take a rest. So a little bit of a different movement now, for which you can be propped up on your forearms, but equally you can stay down with your head low, so it's entirely up to you. Turn your left toes out to the side so that you are resting on the inside of your ankle. I think we did this one a couple of weeks ago, so it will be familiar. It's kind of up there in one of my new favourite moves, you know, when you discover something and you just do it all the time. So I want you to keep turning the toes out to the side. Don't let them point back because that's where they'll want to go. So we don't want that to happen. We want the toes to point out to the side. Now lift the leg off of the floor and put it back down. And I'd like you to do 5 of these, lifting the leg, keep the toes turning out and lower. And just recognise how hard and horrible that is. I can't hear. I wish I. Who are you talking to, Becky? Are you talking to me? Are you talking to Ebony? Okay. That's it. So look at your foot if it helps. Watch your foot. Keep it turned out to the side. It's yucky. It's going to feel it in here. Just take a rest out and then rest that leg. Give it a shake and do the other side. So turn the other toes out. Lift the leg and lower. Keep going. Lift the leg and lower. Notice how your upper body helps you out with this. It can't help itself. It's got to recruit from somewhere. Do one more and then come back down and then just give yourself a little shake out. Okay. Now just take super good care, especially if your name is Fiona and you have a broken arm. But the next move I would like us to try is that you're lifting yourself up and squeezing your shoulder blades together. So Fiona, your version is Shalabhasana with your arms down by your sides perhaps, and you're just lifting, okay? If your hands are on the floor, don't press too strongly into the hands, but do retract your shoulder blades together. So work the muscles on the back of your body, please, nice and strong. Good. Hands or no hands, it's up to you. Do 2 more, please. Inhale your way up. Exhale your way down. Do 1 more time. Inhale your way up. And exhale down. Nice. And rest. Have a little shake of the bottom Little shimmy, shake it out of your lower back. And then we're going to transition into child's pose. So if you pop your hands underneath your shoulders or gently lift yourself up, you can roll onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. But if possible, come down gently into maybe a wide knee child's pose if that works for you and for your body. Okay. Just take a few soft breaths here. Allow yourself the time to pause, to breathe, to catch your breath, slowing down, taking your time. Take 2 more breaths here. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to ask us to do is involves a little bit of upper body support. So Fiona, just take extra good care here. Maybe skip bits of it out, or if you can do it one-handed, do it one-handed. But we are going to come into down dog eventually, so do what you feel comfortable with, please. Okay, and don't take a risk in any way, shape, or form. So if, like me, you've got your socks on, unfortunately now it's time to take them off. I'm going to move this out of the way as well. Okay, so come on to your hands and knees, everybody, and then softly drop your bottom backwards down towards the end of the mat. So we're in a long-armed child's pose. And we're going to take a few rounds. We're going to float up and we're going to float down. So I'd like you to take an inhalation and float your way gently up to an all fours position. And then exhale and round yours back so that you're doing a little cat stretch. Now, obviously, Fiona, you can do some of this kneeling and you can do some of this standing if you want. The rest of us, we're going to tuck our toes. We're going to lift the tailbone and we're going to look forwards, lifting the collarbone. So we come into cow pose. Then as you exhale, you're going to take your bottom back, lift your knees, unroll the back of your legs and have a nice big long stretch out for your back body. Then we're going to float the knees back down to the floor, inhaling. And as you exhale, sink your bottom back down towards your heels. So that's the sequence. We're only going to do it a couple of times. So we're going to keep going with the breath. Inhale, float your way up to an all fours position. Exhale and round your back body. Inhale, tuck your toes under and lengthen the front of your body. Keep that lovely length, move the hips back and then pick the knees up off the floor, unroll the legs and hang your head in between your arms. Inhale, float the knees down to the ground. And exhale, take a little bit of a rest. Child's pose. Add an extra breath here, so take an inhale and an exhale. Right, let's go one more time. Inhale up. Exhale to round the back into cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to dog. Press back, nice and long. Hang your head, lengthen your spine. Inhale to knees. Exhale to child's pose. And rest. This is your chance to pause, to slow down, catch your breath. Lovely. Taking one more breath now. And then let's ease ourselves back up. Good. Now, this is the bit with the kneeling. So this is if you've got a kneeling pad you can use, please bring it or use it. Or you can double up your mat like this, fold your mat up so that it can give you a bit of extra padding for your knee. Okay. Then you're going to turn to the side and rest your leg or one of your knees, doesn't matter which one. You're going to rest your knee on the support and take the other leg out wide to the side because we're going to practice gate pose. Okay, so you're upright, kneeling. If you don't particularly want to kneel, you can sit down and do this. So you could do this version. Okay, it's going to be a bit different, but there is that option if you don't want to be on your knees. Okay, so Fiona, you're going to do a kind of hands-free version of this, hopefully. And before we get there, you have choices. You can point your toes straight away to the end of the mat. You can turn your toes forwards if you like, or you can be somewhere in the middle. And I kind of like somewhere in the middle. So that's my personal preference, but you have your foot, your toes pointing wherever you like. Gate pose is a side body movement. So you're going to ease yourself into a side stretch. So you're coming back up to center. Think about lifting the tip of your ear up to the ceiling first, and then gently sliding yourself down. So your hand slides gently down your leg if you're using it. Then you're coming back upright. Maybe you put your other hand onto your waist. Maybe this hand goes onto your waist and you side bend to the other side. So you're using your core here, you're using your obliques to kind of tone and to keep you in position. Then we're coming back up. We might keep repeating that version, or we might take it a bit further where we lean over towards the straight leg to a depth you feel comfortable with. And maybe we take the top arm up and over the head and reach a little bit more deeply into the side of the body. Good. Then we come back up and over. Now the option is still here to do this version, or we go a little bit deeper and we put the hand or the fingertips on the floor and we take this version. Okay, so another side body movement, nice for the hips as well. We're going to do it one more time. So you're rainbowing your arms. You've got to use this strength from the center to gently take you over to the other side. Hand slides down just to where you feel comfortable. Maybe the arm goes over the top and you reach into the arm, but please feel free to substitute that. You can put it on your side. You could put your hand onto the side of your head as well. Good. Take another breath. And then coming back up. Remember, there's this option, there's this option, there's this option, and there's also this option. So you could take your foot off of the floor if you want. But sometimes it's quite nice to leave the foot on the ground and just take the extra length into the side of your body. Very nice. Gently come back up. Bring the leg in and just sit on the heels if you're comfortable doing that, or give your legs a bit of a stretch out if they need a little different position. Okay, take a couple of breaths, just regain your composure, your center again, and then we'll do the other side. So it's very important, make sure that your knee is padded if you need it. Don't be on too hard a surface for sure, not with the knees. And extend the other leg out to the side. Let's start with the hands on the hips and notice, so remember, lift the tip of the it up and extend through the side body. Try not to let this top shoulder roll forwards and do this. So you've got to keep turning your body out to the side and just notice. So for me, this is me extending towards my left leg, much harder position this is for me. And then gently come back. So if it's your left or your dominant side, it might feel a bit easier. Or if it's your weaker side, it might feel a bit harder. So then we're tipping over to the other side. And this is nice because we're working the core, we're working the inner thighs a bit as well. Come back up, go the other way, and maybe the hand rests onto the leg anywhere you like. Option to keep the hand here, option to put the hand here, or option to take the arm and stretch it out. But is up to you. If you get tingling in your fingers, just bring your hand back down by your side. Keep turning to the side. Try not to let your shoulder want to roll forwards because it will do. Try and open your armpit to the ceiling. Good. And then we're coming back up. This is our extending down. So maybe we do it like this and we just lean. Or maybe we put the fingertips or the palm on the floor. Maybe this arm goes up. Maybe it crosses over and we enjoy. I'm going to do it one more time on each side in a minute. So stay here, take a couple of breaths. Very, very nice. One more breath. Good. And then last one, we're coming up. We're gently easing over. Maybe the arm comes up, maybe it doesn't have to. You take a few breaths here. Good. One more breath. Fabulous. Then gently come up. Hand goes down. Stay in this position if you like, or float the leg as your final variation. Keep breathing. Well done. Last breath. Good. Pop the foot down. Rise back up. Well done. Bring yourself into a resting position. It could be another wide knee child's pose, just to soften the spine and to give yourself a break for a moment. Or you can take any other resting position that you like. Take one more breath here, please. And then softly, we're going to make our way into a forward fold. So you can get there however you like. It could be via an all fours position, tuck toes, a downward dog. And then walk the hands or the feet closer together and hang down over both legs. Lift the sit bones up. The back of both legs a good stretch out. Nice. Take one more breath here. And then softly come up to stand. Done. And just come and stand on your mat somewhere comfortable, somewhere in the center. Shoulders relaxed, arms hanging down by your sides, standing freely, but with space and lightness through your body. So legs are long, spine is lengthening, we're not slumping, we're standing up proud. A little bit of a lift, the center of the chest. Crown of the head moving itself upwards towards the sky. And just for a moment, stand in all of this wonderful, beautiful space. Okay, super duper. So we're going to step onto or into the middle of the mat, facing sideways as I am. Just going to tilt my camera up a little bit. Okay, and the first pose we're going to do is Virabhadrasana 2. So stepping your feet a decent distance apart, please. Lovely. Turn your right toes towards the end of your mat and turn your left toes in. Okay. Now, keeping the hips as level as you can and the spine as upright as you can, simply bend the knee and sink into the right hip. Okay. Then float the arms out to the sides, shoulder height, and you can look down your right fingertips into the distance. And if you want more distance between your feet, just wiggle them a bit further apart so you get a bit lower. Really press firmly into your left leg. So press firmly into the foot, keep the leg as straight as you can, keep the right leg as low, the right thigh as low as you can. Beautiful. Take 2 more breaths here, but if you need to come out sooner, know that it's fine to do so. 1 more breath, inhale, exhale, and come back up to stand. So this is really going to build the stamina in the legs now. Turn the toes forwards, turn them out in the other direction. Remember, turn your back toes in a little bit as well. Try to keep the hips level. I know there is a little bit of movement happening in the hips, but the spine needs to stay upright because it will want to do this like this, but we don't want that to happen. We want it to stay upright. So bend your front knee or your left knee, sink down into that space, keep the spine upright, and then radiate out into the arm length and look down the fingers into the distance. Okay, now keep the right leg strong, so straight and strong out behind you. This is going to work all around your hip, it's going to work your inner thigh. Wonderful for building strength in the legs. Know that you can come out whenever you want. 2 more breaths. Inhale, body upright, pull the right hand back a little bit, some of you. Good. 1 more breath. Inhale and exhale. Lovely. Straighten the front leg, lower the arms, turn the toes forwards, and then you can heel toe your feet back inwards. Okay, and then just stand back to mountain pose again. Shoulders relaxed. Feel the energy circulating around the legs and the hips. Okay, so fantastic for our strength and stamina, fantastic for building confidence in ourselves as well, self-belief. Okay, so we've done a lot of work with side body movements, and that's kind of where we're going next. So it's like the next step on. We've done Virabhadrasana, and now we're going to work into Parsvakonasana. So it's a side angle pose. So it's the same starting, the same base position. And if you were a little bit conservative with your legs and they were a bit like this to begin with, then do honour yourself by taking your feet a little bit wider apart, because this pose is best practice with wider feet. Turn your right toes out again, just like you did before. Left toes turn in. Same base, so the spine stays upright, the knee bends, and we sink into the shape. Arms come up, so we're into warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. And then the forearm is going to come and rest onto the thigh, so you still stay low. The left arm can go either onto the hip, can go onto the head like it did before, or it can go alongside the ear. So you make this lovely long diagonal shape to your body. And if you want to add on, you can look at your thumb. So hold this shape, keep breathing smoothly, be gentle with yourself, modify where you need to modify. Well done. Breathe in, breathe out, look down. Take an inhale, rainbow yourself back up, warrior two. Straighten the front leg, turn the toes, hands to hips, and you can heel toe your feet back in for a moment and catch your breath. Okay, so of course the pose can be practiced with the forearm onto the thigh, but obviously Fiona, just keep a really careful, I know you know what you're doing and things, I know you don't need me to keep pointing it out, but sometimes I look at you and I think I haven't told you what to do. Anyway, so yeah, so just be mindful of that, and everybody just be mindful of all of what you've got going on and how you might need to change your practice a little bit. So we're going to step the feet apart again, back one more time into this lovely wide position. Left toes turn out, right toes turn in. We're sinking into our warrior two shape, arms open. Beautiful. Oh, you just look like picture perfect. It's so lovely. So forearm to thigh if you can. Cartwheel, right arm alongside ear. Stretch long, sink the hips. Look at the thumb if you like. Breathe in and breathe out. Get low down through the hips. Breathe in and breathe out. One more breath. Inhale and exhale. Now come back, warrior two. Straighten the leg, turn the toes, and heel toe your feet in. Well done. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. Beautifully done. Come back to mountain pose. Relax your shoulders. Good job. Just take one more breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. All right, lovely ones. Making our way down to sit. If you like, a blanket or a yoga block might be helpful. It's not necessarily essential, but it might be helpful. And you can come down to the floor by folding back into a forward fold, tucking the head in, lifting the sit bones up, and then easing yourself back to down dog, or come down any way you like. Does not have to be in this kind of uniform fashion. But just coming down to sit on your bottom, to turn your body out to the side, so you're still facing or still sitting in the centre of your mat. In fact, you're going to sit with your legs out wide. Very good. So I've got my bottom kind of sitting on the edge of the block. What that does is it just helps to tilt the pelvis forwards a little bit. Especially good if you need a bit of assistance with that. It's not essential. However, if you've got tightness in the hips, if you've got an ache in your lower back, if you've got sciatica, then sitting up on something is always a good idea. And particularly, we're going to side bend in a minute. So we are working It's more the upper spine than the lower body, because the lumbar the discs of, oh sorry, the bones of the lumbar region are very thick and very big, and they don't side bend. They just don't have that capacity to do that. So most of your side bending happens, let's say, from the navel up, okay? And that's where you see a lot of the movement occurring. So please keep it out of your lower back if you've got a niggle happening there. But also keep it into the pelvis. So you can move the pelvis forwards and backwards, and you can tip your pelvis side to side here, okay? This doesn't really influence the bones of the spine in the lower back too much, okay? So come back to center, sit with the legs out wide, but not too wide. Extend the heels, lift the toes, put the hands on the floor in front of you, and just tip your pelvis forwards. Press the backs of your legs into the floor. Please don't worry about rounding your back or reaching as far forwards as you can go, because as long as you have this tip of the pelvis and then maybe a little tiny lift at the center of the chest, that's going to keep your spine in neutral and make sure that it's just your legs and your hips that are doing all the work here. And that's where we want it to be. Of course, there is the opportunity to round your upper back and get right down close to the floor if you want to, but we're trying to keep the spine neutral, remember, okay? So that's just to sort of show you that's the difference. All I'm doing, I have got a little bit more range in my pelvis tipping forwards if I waited it out for a little bit longer, but if I want to kind of get the lower down bit, I'm rounding my upper back, I'm working the upper spine. Okay, take one more breath here. And then slowly come back up. And just sit. Sit still with the wide leg position. Okay. All right. So then it's entirely up to you which leg you move next. But I'm going to suggest that you bend one knee. I need to sneeze, sorry. There's one hanging around, but it just won't come out. It's gone. So you can either bend the knee out to the side and have the foot in the center, or you can have the foot like this. I think we're familiar with this because we've done this quite a lot recently. Or you can turn the leg out like this. It doesn't matter, okay? What this leg does doesn't matter, because it's about this leg and we're side bending towards it, okay? So you put this leg, this foot, however you like it to be. Keep this leg nice and straight. Turn slightly away from the leg. Now that might be affected, sorry, your ability to do that might be affected by the position of this leg. For instance, with this internal rotation with my foot here, I can't turn so much. But when I turn my leg out, I can turn loads. Okay, it's just the way the hips are kind of made, for me anyway, and probably for most of us, because we often prefer to sit this way round. However, so it does, like I said, it doesn't matter. Hold your foot or your leg or your knee with the opposite hand, and then start to tip your body towards the straight leg. And remember that you're tipping in your upper back. You could put your elbow on your knee and rest your head in your hands. And then there's the option too to put the other arm onto the head and have the weight of the hand just weighing your head down and giving you more stretch into the side of your body. And holding that and breathing. If you want, you can extend your arm. You can hold on to your toes if you want. They're often there. I can just about get to them if I cheat a little bit. Take an inhale and another exhale. Good. Now slowly come back up. And it doesn't matter what position your leg is in, apart from if it's in this one, it might be a bit hard. But then what you're doing next is you're folding towards the bent knee. Take one more breath here. And then lifting yourself up. Good job. Swapping the leg shape. Sitting up comfortably. Turning a little bit away from the straight leg. Starting to side bend towards it. Remember, you can hold with the foot with the opposite hand or the knee with the opposite hand. You could rest your elbow onto your leg and rest your head in your hand. You can reach down and hold onto your foot with the same hand as well. There is that as an option to kind of pull you towards your foot. And then choose what you want to do with this arm. It could wrap around the back of your body. It doesn't have to go up in the air. It could rest on your head. Just encourage that extra lengthening feel. It can be, it's like very subtle. It feels lovely. Maybe a long stretch. Using the weight of the arm as an extra kind of lever to getting deeper if you want. Good job. We're going to take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Last breath. And then gently come back. Good job. Bring the legs a little bit closer in towards the centre and just give them a good old shake. And you can bend the knees and just, you can put the hands behind you if you like, or do no hands and just gently rock the knees from side to side, like a little 90-90 rock. Go slowly, so the hips might feel a bit stiff. Okay, so do 1 more on each side. Last one. Well done. Come back towards the centre, extend the legs again. Have the heels away and the toes up. Sit up nice and tall, like you're sitting in Dandasana. Hands down by your sides. Option to lift the arms if you want, or option to not lift the arms. But we're going to basically inhale and exhale. Draw the navel in and fold over the legs. Inhale, rise up again. Reach up tall. And exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, rise up. Reach up if you can, at least reach through the spine. And then exhale, tip the pelvis. Bring the navel towards the thighs. Bend the knees if you need to. Hold the legs if you want, or just rest the hands by the sides of your feet. Gently lengthen the back of the legs as well as the back of the body. Hold it here. Keep breathing. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then softly rise up. Inhale. And exhale, relax. Good job. Okay, so that brings us towards the end of the practice. I'd like you to grab layers because it might get chilly if you lie still for any length of time. Please make sure you're not lying in a drafty spot. Put socks on, put jumpers on, use a blanket, whatever you need in order to be nice and cozy, and keep all of the lovely warmth in your body that we have been generating. All right, so settle yourself, make sure you're going to be comfy and you have any support underneath you that your body needs. Take your time to spread yourself out. Feel yourself sinking. Offer to yourself these moments of total stillness. As the body surrenders to stillness, the eyes close and the attention to the senses withdraws. You drop into this inner space. This space where thoughts are left behind. The ego is not present here. Instead, it's just a state of being. This inner world is a sacred space. A space where you can watch. You can be the witness. You let go of attachment. The witness is like a black hole. And whatever you bring to it disappears into the void of nothingness, leaving nothing for you to do. No obligations, no need to control anything, to expect anything. Simply be in it. So I'd like you to gently And slowly bring yourself out of the sacred internal space that you've had the pleasure of stepping back into. And know that this space is always there, whenever you need it, always there as a refuge, as a safe place. And now we come back and we let the world of the senses pour back in. We feel the temperature of the air on our skin. We smell the smell of our clothes. We blink the eyes open and let the light back in. Then take a stretch out any way that feels good, please. Gently bring yourself over to one side. Take your time, no rush. And you can come round and up into a seated position when you're ready. Lovely, welcome back. I think we've got everybody. Let's finish our practice together. So sit any way that is comfortable for you. Taking your hands out to the sides. On an inhalation, raise the arms up above your head. Reach up. Let the palms find each other. And exhale your hands softly and slowly down to rest in front of your heart. Beautiful. From my heart to your heart, namaste. And have a very peaceful rest of the evening.